San Diego is now in the orange tier. The change is being welcomed at local restaurants.
And conventions will return to San Diego by year's end. The new restrictions that will affect the largest events.
An East County horse ranch has a Positively San Diego therapy program for those dealing with post-traumatic stress. How a documentary about the ranch is trying to bring hope to anyone who's struggling.
ABC 10 News at 6 starts now.
So they're really excited to get out and get together with people that they've only been on Zoom with.
Restaurants are now able to serve more people inside than at any point since the pandemic began. San Diego County officially entered the orange tier today. Good evening, I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Restaurants trying to rebound are now able to fill their dining rooms to 50% capacity. Our ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala is live in Escondido, where people have been out and about all day long. Mimi.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few people out today as restaurants are allowed to allow more people to dine inside. But there's been such lovely weather today that a lot of people are still taking advantage of the outdoor dining options as well.
So we can still fit all of our larger groups in here, and we have a table set up where we can move stuff around how we need it.
Under the orange tier, San Diego County's restaurants can now increase their indoor dining capacity to 50%, the most it's been in quite a while. Outdoor seating is also still available and a go-to for many.
People still want to eat outside because it's so nice.
Nick Hediotti and his brother Justin own H Brothers on Escondido's Grand Avenue. For them, the increase means about 25 people inside, a few extra tables. The brothers have been following the coronavirus restrictions even though it's been difficult. They made it through and now see more people dining out.
It's been really steady, really good. Almost back to where we were before this happened.
For smaller restaurants like mom and pop shop Sunnyside Kitchen, owned by husband and wife Bob and Kate Carpenter, the capacity increase is just about one extra table. But their loyal customers have kept them busy.
Every month we would worry if we're going to make it, but every month we've come through with the support of the community.
Kate says they followed the health guidelines and added more outdoor tables, something customers have appreciated, including this couple, James and Caroline, who even met at Sunnyside Kitchen back in 2019.
I love Bob and Kate.
Carolyn and I have been committed to going to those restaurants that we value in the community. And so we come here at least once a week.
The orange tier is welcome news for restaurant owners who suffered a great deal during the pandemic. And knowing California could be on the way to fully reopening in June makes things that much better.
We'll just be so happy to have open arms and open doors and all the seating we possibly can.
We have great customers, and they really got us through this.
And the city of Escondido tells me it has seen great success with outdoor dining, so they're currently discussing some options that would encourage and make it a lot easier for restaurant owners to continue providing this. We are live in Escondido. Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
Mimi, thank you. San Diego County's 14-day rolling average for positive cases continues to hold steady at just over 2%. There were a higher number of new cases reported today, more than 300, but that still only amounted to 2% of all tests given. The county also says that 3 more San Diegans have died from this virus.
Conventions will return to San Diego in August after more than a year of cancellations. Welcome news to our economy. But in this edition of The Rebound, ABC 10 News reporter John Horn explains why the largest conventions will face new restrictions.
We're ready to go.
Jeffrey Berg is elated at the news that conventions will once again return to San Diego. The hotel he manages, the Marriott Gaslamp Quarter, is 2 blocks from the convention center.
With conventions coming back in August and us to have meetings starting actually next week, you know, it's a great step forward for the hotels.
Conventions have disappeared from San Diego amid the pandemic, leading to plummeting hotel occupancy on weekdays and the loss of tens of thousands of jobs. On Tuesday, Governor Newsom announced a target date of June 15th for the state to fully reopen its economy, paving the way for larger meetings and conventions to return.
So now that we are able to host meetings, our hoteliers will be able to start calling back some of their workers as business starts ramping up.
The governor, however, mandates that all conventions through October 1st with more than 5,000 attendees require proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test. The convention center has 5 that big on the books, including the American Kennel Club's annual Meet the Breeds event, which could draw 17,500 people. A club spokeswoman said Wednesday it intends to hold the event adhering to all state and local rules. The American Psychological Association, expecting 12,000 in August, says it's evaluating the new rules and will work with the convention center on the best path forward. John Horn, ABC 10 News.
A spokeswoman for the convention center said this is a new development and they're waiting on more guidance from the state. The state health department says the cap refers to large-scale indoor events with uncontrolled mixing that includes eating and drinking. Today was the first of 4 days that the vaccine superstation at the Del Mar Fairgrounds had to close because of a shortage in doses. It will also be closed through the weekend starting Friday. Scripps, which runs that site, says the shipment that came in last week was low. Any appointment that has been affected by these closures is automatically being rescheduled for a later date.
UCSD Health is holding a vaccination event for the Vietnamese community this weekend. The hospital says that 60% of elderly people who are Asian American or Pacific Islander have gotten at least 1 dose of the vaccine. That's compared to nearly 80% among all San Diegans ages 65 and up. This weekend's vaccination event is on Saturday at the IFTIN Charter School in City Heights. A similar event will take place next Monday for people in the Korean community. And things will be as close to normal as possible when UC San Diego's fall quarter begins later this year. The university says that it expects to have 90% of students and 85% of staff vaccinated by then. That means classes will primarily be taught in person in a classroom on campus. The outdoor classrooms the university debuted in January will still be used as well. Virtual accommodations will be made for international students who can't be on campus because of visa or travel restrictions. And the changes at UCSD go on to include everything from residence hall capacity to social events and sports. You can find all the changes on our website at 10news.com.
A new California law may make it easier for insurance companies to drop coverage in high fire areas. The state now requires 5 feet of defensible space around a home. That's separate from the 100 feet of space needed for a property. The code applies to existing homes designated in very high fire severity zones, such as Alpine, Lakeside, and Bonita. And we spoke with an owner of an alpine farm hit hard by last year's Valley Fire. He didn't know about the new law until we told him.
I think it's a good idea, but it's just a matter of getting it communicated properly. I was completely unaware of this. Just because you clear the perimeter doesn't keep the embers from flying over and hitting the interior.
The Alpine Fire Protection District says they're working to educate residents on the new law. If homeowners don't comply, they could face a fine of more than $1,000.
The ATF just upped its reward for information on a 5-year-old Oceanside murder case by $10,000. Investigators say that Brandon Kaiser was shot and killed on the night of March 22nd back in 2016. He was found lying on a sidewalk near a home on South Freeman Street. Witnesses say that they heard an argument just before the gunshots. That led detectives to believe the shooting was not random. They also believe the shooting is connected to another that wounded a man in San Marcos just 3 weeks earlier. Anyone with information that could lead to an arrest should call Crime Stoppers.
The former manager of several local restaurants will spend up to 2.5 years in prison. A federal judge sentenced Alexander Sirkovich today for employment tax fraud. Sirkovich managed the Lake Murray Cafe and 4 other restaurants in the county. He employed more than 100 people, and investigators say he told an outside payroll company to stop making employment tax payments to the IRS from 2014 to 17. In all, he caused a tax loss in excess of $1.5 million.
Investigators are looking for more potential victims of a Chula Vista couple charged in a real estate fraud scheme. Investigators say that Brenda Gregory and her husband, Angel Gutierrez, used fake documents to sell properties they didn't own, and then they collected those payments to a trust based in Texas. So far, investigators have connected them to sham sales in Riverside County, Arizona, and Texas. The couple was arrested at their RV in San Diego RV Park back in March.
The San Diego Symphony is showing off its brand new shell amphitheater at the Embarcadero. ABC 10 News toured the site today. It's still under construction, but it will eventually serve as a year-round outdoor concert and events venue.
Certainly with COVID, we had a number of supply delays, as you can imagine. We're getting very close. By the end of April, early May, I think we should be winding up the construction phase. It's going to be a beacon as people fly into San Diego. You're going to hear all styles of music on this site. You know, some of the great musicians of today will end up coming to San Diego to play on this stage.
The acoustics in the Shell are reported to be some of the best in the country. The Symphony's CEO says they're preparing to open as soon as it's clear and, quote, time is right. The family of the young girl who was wounded in the 2019 shooting at the Chabad of Poway is suing the synagogue. In the lawsuit, the family claims the synagogue lacked sufficient security measures when a gunman opened fire, killing one woman and injuring 3 others. The lawsuit also claims the synagogue received federal funds meant for security upgrades, but had not spent that money. Chabad of Poway leadership has not commented.
Norwegian Cruise Lines is asking the CDC to let them set sail again starting July 4th. San Diego is a port of call for this cruise line. Cruise ships haven't been setting sail from U.S. ports, though, in over a year. Norwegian is the first American cruise line to announce plans for resuming their cruises. The company says it will require all passengers and staff to be fully vaccinated 2 weeks before heading out to sea. In their proposal to the CDC, Norwegian indicated they would begin sailing with limited capacity, starting at about 60% on July 4th, increasing capacity by 20% every month.